Welcome to another BODHI session. This time we have picked up a topic which is pervasive AI in retail, moving from isolated projects to becoming part of the business DNA. So over the last decade, retailers have invested heavily in AI, from machine learning models to personalization engines to supply chain optimization and pricing algorithms. Yet in a few recent surveys, it is revealed that only a few have successfully able to scale AI at an enterprise level. Hence, many leaders are still asking a fundamental questions that why does so much of AI still feel experimental instead of foundational? And today's conversation is about answering that question honestly and practically. I am Indrajit Mitra, and I lead the AI and data science practice at Polestar Analytics. I am delighted to be joined by Anirban Nandi, who leads AI and data initiatives at Albertsons Companies. Anirban has been at the forefront of translating AI ambition into operational reality across merchandising, supply chain, customer experiences. He brings a rare combination of strategic perspective and hands-on execution. Anirban, welcome to this session. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you, Indrajit. That's a very generous introduction, and I truly appreciate it. It's great to be here as part of the BODHI sessions. I really like the premise of the entire series, especially the focus around data, analytics, and AI. I'm looking forward to the conversation, reflecting on some of the journey, sharing a few lessons learned along the way, and hopefully offering perspectives that resonates with others navigating similar paths in this entire world of data and AI. Thanks again for having me.
Great. Great. So let's get started. Let's start by setting the foundation first, Anirban. The phrase pervasive AI gets used a lot, but it means very different things to different organizations. For some, it's about deploying more models. For others, it's about embedding intelligence into every decision, workflow, and role. So I'd love to ground this conversation in your perspective that how do you define pervasive AI in the retail context, and how is it fundamentally different from traditional AI initiatives?
Thank you, Indrajit. Very interesting way to start the entire conversation. Specifically for me, when I say pervasive AI, I am not talking about AI everywhere in the marketing sense. I am talking about AI being present at every meaningful decision point, quietly, maybe reliably, and contextually as well. In retail, if you look at it, decisions happen every morning in a merchant's head, every hour in replenishment systems, every second in digital touch points, and every minute on a store floor. And pervasive AI means AI shows up in all these moments, not as a dashboard, but as a co-thinking partner. A simple litmus test if I remove AI tomorrow, how does the organization feel? Does the organization feel slower, less confident, or more anxious? Across different organizations, when AI tools are made unavailable during maintenance, employees feel handicapped. That's when we know AI has crossed from tool to infrastructure. And if I may say, very important, pervasive AI is augmented intelligence, not just autonomous intelligence. Humans remain accountable. AI expands the decision surface. So that's what it means to me, Indrajit.
That's a powerful framing, Anirban. Thanks for that. Um, so next, if we just look at the forces driving AI everywhere, right? So retail today is operating under enormous pressure, and no one probably knows it better than you, right? So margin compression, volatile demand, omni-channel complexity, the rising customer expectation. Against that backdrop, what would you say are the top two or three forces pushing retailers to embed AI across the enterprise rather than in isolated pockets?
Um, Again, a very interesting question, Indrajit. Thanks for asking this. I think the top two or three forces that come to my mind right now. The first one being margin pressure is now permanent. Retailers used to think margin compression was cyclical. It actually isn't. Input costs input costs actually fluctuate. Labor is structurally more expensive. Consumers are value seeking, but expectation rich. There's no future where retailers win without precise decisions at scale. And humans alone cannot do it. That's one of the important factors where AI plays a role. The second one, decision complexity has exploded. Retail decision making used to be seasonal. Now it's continuous. There are micro seasons, hyper local demands. The point that you made, online, offline feedback loops, omni-channel, right? AI does not replace merchants here. It absorbs the combinatorial complexity so humans can focus on judgment. And the final thing which I can think on top of my mind is consumer expectations are trained elsewhere. Your customers doesn't compare your grocery app to another grocery app. They compare it to actually the Netflix, Amazon, Google subconsciously. That gap is forcing AI adoption from outside in and not from inside out.
That's a great perspective, Anirban. Um, and of course, since the pandemic, right? So pandemic acted as an inflection point, and not just accelerating the digital adoption, but also reshaping priorities entirely what you were mentioning. So many retailers moved from experimentation to survival mode almost overnight, right? So what has been the biggest shift in AI priorities post-pandemic? What has been your experiences in terms of where leaders are investing, what they now expect from AI?
Fantastic question, actually. I think before COVID, most of the AI conversations that I've had in my first decade of my professional career were about accuracy. Okay. After COVID, accuracy felt very fragile in nature. Suddenly, all the historical data failed, models broke, forecast lied confidently. Okay. What changed was philosophical, actually. So we moved from prediction to decision resilience, from automation to assisted decision making, and sometimes from black boxes to explainable systems as well. Across different enterprises in my professional journey, I have seen adoption getting accelerated only when leaders saw AI as a risk management partner, not as a forecasting oracle. That's my point of view here before
Great.
COVID. And this is primarily my own personal experience. Obviously, I'm not stating this for the entire community here.
No, absolutely. I completely concur with what you are saying. So that actually gets that points out to some questions around. You mentioned that the way we have looked at data, right? Pre and post pandemic. So one thing that consistently comes up when we talk about scaling AI is data, not just the volume of it, but quality, accessibility, and trust part of it. Right. So many organizations believe they are AI ready, but struggle when it comes to operationalizing models at scale. So what's the gap here, right? That really where this gap comes from. So where is the disconnect? So where do most enterprise underestimate the importance of data in scaling AI? And what does that truly mean to make the data foundation future proof? If you can give a few.
I can definitely share my point of view around this. We have always heard of this term called as GIGO, ego, okay, garbage in, garbage out. Most organizations actually underestimate how behavioral data matters more than transactional data. What I have historically seen is that organizations collecting data around sales, inventory, clicks. But what organizations have kind of ignored is overrides, hesitation, rejection, human rational. Okay. The finer aspects of behavioral data is not getting captured. And that's tragic because that's where the expertise lives. Okay. Another blind spot that I have also seen is that data teams optimize for storage, not for learning. Okay. Future-proof data foundations must preserve decision context, capture all the feedback loops, allow models to learn from humans and not just from outcomes. Data without decision lineage is just an expensive history that we all carry within certain organizations.
That's a great perspective. But do you see any specific data anti-patterns repeatedly across enterprises that is coming up?
Uh, so obviously there are certain anti-patterns of data that I have seen repeatedly. I don't want to call that out, Indrajit, right now, because we have a lot of listeners specifically. I'm happy to discuss that one-to-one with you, but nothing that is like, these are certain organization specific things which can lead to these anti-patterns. It's not like it's an horizontal anti-pattern across the globe for certain things. But yes, with the advent of the generative AI technologies, people have started more focusing on the behavioral data as well, okay, the conversational data, and not, while the transactional data has always been important and it will be a key component, but the focus has now been how can I augment my transactional data with, let's say, a conversational AI ecosystem? How can I add behavioral data? See, at one point of time, we will move towards this journey called as generalized intelligence. Okay, so
Right.
so that's where all of these data points actually needs to talk to each other and make sure that this system of AGI gets created in the long run.
Very truly put it. And I completely agree with your point. So now probably let's shift our focus a bit towards how the pervasiveness in AI leads to the business DNA shift, right?
Okay.
So see, technology alone doesn't make AI pervasive. People do. So
Yep.
few research surveys that came out recently shows that even highly accurate models fail if people don't trust or understand them. So this is where AI transition from a technical initiative to a cultural one. Right? So
Mhm.
what's required for merchants, in your opinion, and operators to genuinely trust and adopt AI-driven recommendations in their day-to-day decisions making?
Uh, Very interesting question, Andrajit. And again, from my experience, what I've realized, and this is not just professional experience, by the way, personal experience. Okay. If you look at this word trust, okay, trust is emotional before it actually goes into the logical space. That's where trust begins, right? So, three things that matter deeply is AI must speak business, not maths. Merchants don't care about maybe AI explainability or sharp values. They care about why this SKU, why this store, why now. Okay. So the second point being around humans must retain the steering wheel. If AI overrides humans, humans will quietly sabotage AI. We learned this early. The right to disagree increases adoption more than any training program. All right. And finally, I think wins must be visible and personal. Enterprise ROI does not build trust. My category margin improved does. All right. So it has to, for the merchants, it has to be very, very practical, saying that, okay, this is the impact that I'm creating for my category.
True, completely agree, Anirban. That's a great way to look into this. And for our audience, I just would like to let you know that Anirban is also an author, right? So in this particular subject, which is very interesting, the explainability part of the AI, he has already published his book. So anything you want to mention on the model explainability and how that probably correlates to the trust of the various players that is there in the AI business value and the retail chain?
Um, I can share a little bit of history about this. Okay. Growing up, I was not a book buff. Okay. So I hated reading books. All right. So when COVID happened, a lot of my sports related activities reduced significantly. All right. So I thought, let me try doing something which I'd never do. And I would have never thought I'll do something like this. And at that point of time, we were working a lot on Zai, which is explainable AI. Okay, we were looking at SHAP, Lime, all of that. But Chapline, all of that, and the book that I've authored, and thank you for bringing this up, Indrajit, was primarily around machine learning and deep learning. All right. Now, for merchants, for everybody in the business, if I have an explainable AI layer, it is very, very helpful. Okay. Because you can understand, let's say, if I am a bank and if I am not giving you a home loan, or if my credit limit is stuck at a certain percentage or a certain INR value, the explainable AI can actually help you understand why it's not going up, looking at the features. So that's the level of explainability it can go. It can go to a user level explainability level, it can go to group level explainability level. So it varies depending on the use cases. But what has, since the time I wrote the book, the world of AI has evolved. Okay. Now, generative AI, LLMs, transformer models, right? There's, I don't want to name the company here, but there's only one company in the entire world, and we at Albertsons are working very closely with them, has actually started doing some work on the foundational level transformer model exploratory. It's fascinating that the way they have figured this out. Other places, it's all bookish theoretical knowledge. But yes, in the course of the next 2 to 3 years, when a lot more organizations will start developing their own foundational models or fine tune basis some open source models that are available, you will see the explainability layer on your generative AI solutions will also become a very big deal. So,
Got it. Just hold your thought on the
mhm.
generative AI and agentic AI. We will soon deep dive into that area.
Sure,
But before that, I would just like to ask one more question
sure.
on this particular trust part and the adoption of the AI by the business the business roles and personas that we have. So trust often comes from understanding, right? And understanding requires fluency. So when we
Mhm.
talk about AI fluency, it's not about turning everyone into a data scientist or an AI engineer, but about enabling better judgment and decision making.
Right.
So from that lens, how do you build AI fluency across thousands, sometimes maybe hundreds of thousands of employees without overwhelming them?
Um, again, kind of a difficult question, but let me share what I feel. You actually don't teach AI, you normalize it. Okay. At scale, fluency comes from embedding AI in your daily tools, even while writing an email, let's say. Okay. Making AI optional. Okay. Do you need the summary? You don't need the summary, right? But when you're making it optional, it also has to be helpful, right? Allowing playful experimentation with AI, right? You always don't need to get associated with enterprise level, enterprise grade AI applications, right? You can do a lot more experiments at work, at home, to make yourself AI ready. Now, at different enterprises, usage scaled not because of mandates. And this is again, I have seen this in practice. The usage scaling is not because of a mandate getting thrown at you, but because AI has reduced the cognitive load for employees across roles. And overall, I think fluency happens when people stop calling it AI and start calling it my tool. I have heard this in a few organizations that I've worked in, that they have stopped calling it, they don't use the word AI anymore. It's like I will use my tool to do this. Okay. And there's
Absolutely.
this only one tool which is available across the organization. This is where AI fluency, that is when you actually reach a level of certain AI fluency within the organization.
Beautifully put, Anirban. Now probably we can get into the most hyped part, which is the generative AI, agentic AI. And over last 18 to 24 months or so, generative AI has fundamentally changed the AI conversation. What's interesting is that we are now seeing a shift from GenAI as a content or productivity tool to GenAI as a decision and execution layer, especially with the agentic systems. So how do you separate the signal from the noise here? So from your experience, is GenAI truly driving meaningful impact in retail today? Or are we still the early separating hype from the value in the early days of it, right? So would love to hear your thought on this.
Generative AI, yes. Agentic AI, let me explain. Okay. Overall, I think the answer is yes, but not as a silver bullet. Okay. Where generative AI truly shines is summarizing complexity, translating intent to action, accelerating human thinking. And it's extremely transformation in merchant copilots, store associate assistants, customer service. Where it's kind of dangerous is fully autonomous decisions without any guardrails. You can have decisions, agentic, fully autonomous agentic systems getting built, but it has to be done with the right guardrails. The way I think of it is, and please don't take me wrong in any way here, but to me, GenAI is a brilliant intern, fast, articulate, and occasionally overconfident. Okay. So that's why human in the loop is kind of non-negotiable when we are building this agentic AI systems, the fully autonomous agentic AI systems. Agentic AI is, the word agentic AI gets used right, left, and center nowadays. But if you are building a truly, fully autonomous agentic AI system, I think human in the loop is non-negotiable when you integrate the final decision making. And specifically, if it's, let's say, overwriting your production codes, embedding new data into your database, okay, or taking a final action on a customer making a purchase, right? So I think, and that's where I use these terms often. For me, AI is now no more artificial intelligence. It's actually augmented intelligence, where it is always AI and human synergy or human in the loop.
Wow, that's a very bold framing, and I've not heard this, by the way, earlier. That's really eye-opening for me as well, and I'm sure for our audience. Um, so if this is true, then that naturally brings us to an important strategic decision many leaders are grappling with right now. With so many foundation models and
Mhm.
platforms available, the question isn't whether to use GenAI, but how, right? So what's the right balance between off the shelf GenAI capabilities and custom enterprise trained models, especially in a data sensitive industry like retail?
Okay. Again, fascinating question. Most of my 2 decades of my professional journey, I've been in retail. Obviously, I've had stints with the entire fintech industry, telco, advertising, but most of it has been in retail. So I think let me try to do justice to this question. And again, this is my perspective. Everybody has their own perspectives. For me, retailers actually don't need to train models from scratch. They must own the context of it. Okay. For me, for any retailer, the winning architecture would be foundational models for reasoning, enterprise fine tuning for nuances, and a governance layer for trust. Most of the retailers, the generative AI worked because we wrapped intelligence inside responsibility. And when I use the word responsibility, there is an observability layer, security layer, explainability by design, right? So it's a wrapped intelligence. You can call it as a wrapper on top of intelligence with our own, with the retailer's context, okay, which makes it the right balance for any retailer. Such.
Got it. Got it. Um, that's understandable given the industry that you are in. So at the end of the day, success is measured by the impact, right?
Mhm.
It's not only the architectures or the kind. Obviously, data foundation is quite relevant and important. But not only data architectures or model or roadmaps. It's actually important, right? It's the success that we are getting out of the project and the implementation. So retail leaders want to know what actually works, right? What scales, what survives economic cycle. I'm sure that you also would like to know that, right? So what type of AI use cases have proven to be both durable and high ROI over time in retail. I just like to probably reflect a very generic way, right? If you can just please share your thought on this.
Uh, Let me I'll take one from your entire question. I will use this one word, durable, okay, and use that word and call it durable AI. Okay. I don't think there is a there's a terminology coined as durable AI yet, but let me still go ahead and use it. So, in my point of view, durable AI always has three traits. Okay, a direct PNL impact, human interaction, and continuous learning. Examples across our journey: once you have the stable data platform, you also need to, and there's a lot of AI in data work happening across to make the data platforms more operational, greater efficiency, and all of that. AI platform, okay. AI platform again has your traditional AI platform and your generative AI platform, okay. But from our examples, specifically from use cases, once you have the standard platform layer ready, which is the data, the traditional AI, including machine learning, deep AI, and the generative AI platforms ready and working at scale, then I think some of the use cases that have really drawn attention, specifically from a retail standpoint, would be demand forecasting with human overrides. Okay, markdown optimization, personalized promotions, merchants and store co-pilots. These actually have survived all leadership changes, tech cycles, economic shocks, because they are still the augmented core roles of retail, and these are not going to go away. So this, I think, the business problems, these are difficult problems to solve. Retailers even been trying to solve for this for hundreds of years, but they're still working on it. I don't think there's any one retailer, any one enterprise, even a service provider who can say that I've solved it end to end. So there's a lot of nuance to solving this, although there are thousands of algorithms available, codes available in open source, but to get to a certain level of accuracy, specifically from demand forecasting or let's say markdown optimization, is the key here.
Great, great, great way to look at it, Anirban, and I think I completely agree with your point of view here. So we have covered, I think, a lot of ground today, right, in terms of the daunting questions that I've posed to you, and you have patiently answered.
Very
So we have
interesting
covered,
questions, Indrajit, I must say. Thank you. Thank you.
yeah, thank you. Thanks, Anirban. So we have covered from strategy, data foundation, Gen AI, and a bit into the real world impact. Before we wrap up, we will move to my favorite section. We'll switch a gear bit here. So I'm
Okay.
going to throw a few rapid fire questions at you. Okay.
Okay, sure.
So what we want is quick instincts, no overthinking, maybe one or two liners answers if possible.
Okay.
Think of this as the human side of the AI leadership, right?
All right.
So ready for this?
I'm not sure if I'm ready, but I'll give it a shot. This is
Okay.
like coffee with Karan. They have this rapid fire round, right? So, okay. All right.
Yeah,
Let's go.
yeah, right. So the first question I have for you is, what's the most overhyped AI idea in retail right now?
I've heard this somewhere. I don't want to quote it where, but there's a concept called as lights out retail. Okay. If AI can run retail alone, it would optimize EBITDA, forget birthdays, festivals, and human joy, right? So I don't think it's possible. So that's the most overhyped.
Great, great.
Okay.
So moving on to the next one. Uh,
Mhm.
what's the one AI investment you would never cut, even in a downturn?
I think data foundations and a layer of decision intelligence on top of data foundations. So data to insights to recommendations, I would never cut out at any point of time in an enterprise.
Just to pick your thought, what about the people who are enabling this entire process? What about them? So again, we are getting into a controversial zone, which is people versus man versus machine, right? So
Mhm.
what's your take on that?
So people will obviously stay. Okay. The people who will get the enterprises to the next level are the people who are actually always evolving with technologies. Okay. Like I don't think it's of any use to learn C right now. as a programming language, right? So
Right.
it moved from C to C++ to Java. Java has survived a lot of winters, all right? So people are always important, but my answer from the AI investment standpoint is mostly on the, when I was thinking from a rapid fire standpoint, I was thinking, okay, let's talk about infra data AI standpoint. But yeah, people are extremely important. We cannot say that people are not important in this entire ecosystem. And
Right.
that's where, again, coming back, I say it's augmented intelligence, human in the loop, right? So,
Yeah,
yep.
absolutely. So my next question to you is, which job in retail will look completely different in 3 years because of AI?
I think the merchants will now become AI augmented strategists. Okay. A lot of the decision making from the merchants was basis gut feel, but now they have this co-pilots for themselves, so they can talk to themselves literally, and the co-pilots could also be enabled with long context memory as well. So it's like you talking to yourself, so you're becoming like an AI augmented strategist, and not like looking through multiple spreadsheets over a period of time.
Fascinating. Fascinating idea.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so let's move on to the next one.
Yes.
Let's say if you had a magic wand, right? And you
Uh-huh.
want to fix one data problem across the industry,
Uh-huh.
what disappears?
Uh, I think this is a difficult one. Okay. And I've experienced this close to 20 decades. And I'm just talking about retail as a business. Okay. And I'm sure fintech will have, because most of the questions I'm trying to answer from the retail standpoint, I think the misaligned item store time hierarchies. If you look at these three as a combination, which is item, store, and time, it's something that if I had a matching wand and I could fix that item, store, time combination and make it accurate, okay, a lot of my problems, the AI, the algorithms could feed better out of that data and make it more accurate.
Great, great.
Mhm.
Next question for you. The most undervalued AI opportunity in retail today is what?
I think it would be human judgment. Okay. All the things that we have in our brain, see, AI as a concept has also been pictured from our brain, right? So it's humans who have created AI at the end of the day, right? So it
Absolutely.
still says that our brain is a lot more stronger than AI. Obviously it's learning with every new release coming from the Geminis of the world, Claudes of the world, OpenAIs of the world, it's getting better and better, because I think there's a lot of human judgment getting incorporated into it, right? So I think a lot of people do not understand it, but learning from the human judgment is an undervalued opportunity right now.
Great point. Great point. Completely agree with this one, Anirban. I mean,
Mhm.
last one before we
Yes.
move to the question and answer. So
Mhm.
one thing we will laugh about in 2030, looking back at today's AI. So what is that one thing we laugh about in 5 years down the line?
I think calling generative AI artificial, I would be laughing around calling generative AI artificial. The intelligence was always there. We just finally learned to share it with everybody. Okay. And again, just sharing a story, thanks to generative AI and me being in this field of transformer models and building foundation models, but the first time ChatGPT got released, I was explained to my dad and my mom that what AI data I do. Okay, for them, data was always in like the investments data that they used to save in Excels, right? So, but with ChatGPT, they actually saw that. So, in 5 years down the line, I think calling generative AI artificial, because it will be so close to natural, I'd laugh about.
Great. I think that's it. I will not bug you with any more questions. It
Okay.
has been a fascinating discussion, very well
Mm-hmm.
thought insights. I'm sure that personally myself and our audiences are greatly benefited out of it. Thanks a lot, Anirban, and a big thanks to all of our audiences for patiently tolerating us thus far. I would now love to open this up to the audience for your questions. I think we have a few questions in our chat boxes. Let me just Okay. So the first question comes from Shruti. She says, while the development of GenAI is exponentially growing, what percentage of decision making adoption is done through it at organizational level? And which verticals are probably adopting it more, like finance, admin, HR, logistic, etc. So typically what she wants to understand is in real life scenarios, even where it is being adopted, is the business decision being made about something, or it is validated through AI tools, or AI tools insights are being used to drive decisions. So that's the question.
Okay. All right, Indrajit, let me take a shot. And given that you are the head of analytics and AI at Polestar, so you can also provide your point of view. But I think it's not about organizations utilizing generative AI. It's about the organization having the maturity to, or having been used to machine learning, data sciences, AI in the first place. Now, if an organization or an enterprise is starting its machine learning or let's say AI journey right now, obviously their adoption curve will be a lot more steeper. But look at an organization which have been in this AI, which is core tech, who has been adopting. It does not necessarily have to be core tech. It could be a business organization as well, like retail, fintech. But they have been adopting AI as a fundamental philosophy for the last 3 decades. Their adoption rates would be high. So having a generalized statement saying that let's assume that both Indrajit and me are CEOs of two different retail business. Indrajit's retail business have been adopting AI as a philosophy and has a lot of use case for the last 30 years compared to me. And I've just gotten impressed by what the power of generative AI, but I'm just in my first year of journey. Now, both of us are in the retail business, but our adoption rates will be very, very different, right? So you can't generalize this. It depends on what you have done in the past, which also determines what you'll do in the future. But although I'm new, I think the advantage that I'll get as a new adopter of AI is that the availability of AI tools and technologies that could fast track my adoption rate better if I'm really serious about it. Sorry, Shruti, I did not directly answer your question, but I don't think there's a direct answer to this question. So any of those reports that I actually look at it, I am not very convincing that marketing has the highest rate of AI adoption or retail has the highest rate. It depends on the company's maturity.
Right, absolutely. I think it's very relevant, the answer that you have provided. From my experience, also what we are seeing is that it's all about the journey, all about the maturity, all about the data foundation, the business processes. So generative AI doesn't have a magic wand, so to say, that it can fix anything and everything until and unless the process or the business process is clear, the data is available, right? And then we can scale. So it's not about the POCs, because we are seeing that a lot of generative AI POCs are being developed, right? So, but a few of them are getting implemented at the end. So probably from the scaling factor also, from the scaling aspect also, we need to see that where we are in terms of our AI journey and maturity as an organization, right? So absolutely point on there. I have got another question from Ashok. Ashok is asking, looking ahead, how might emerging AI regulations in regions like India or the EU reshape grocery retail strategies over next 2 years?
Okay.
So it's on the regulation side.
So the good thing is that in my current role, I lead data and AI globally for Albertsons. And as part of our core data and AI committee, there's legal presence as well. It is a very important factor. So I don't know how it will shape because I don't have the complete preview of what all regulations will come in. But what we are ensuring is that legal is completely embedded, specifically in the customer-facing AI applications that we develop and ship out, right? That's very, very important. Following regulations is very important, but ensuring that those regulations are properly embedded from a data privacy standpoint, very extremely important to ensure that the right set of AI is actually thrown back to our customer base.
Okay. That's
Again,
I think
I don't have a magic wand to say that how it will reshape, because I don't even know what are the regulations that are coming up. But having legal as part of your core team is extremely beneficial, and that's what we do.
okay. We have a few external participants' questions as well. Anirban, so Joji Anthony George is asking me, I know the name of the book that you have authored.
Okay, it's Indrajit. Do you remember the name of the book? I don't remember the name of the book actually, but it's something like interpreting machine learning models or something like that.
Yes, I think the name of the book is Interpreting Machine Learning Models. Exactly, that's the name.
Yeah, it's been 4 years, so I can't recall what I have done in the last 7 days. It's been like 4 years now since I published the book. So, but hopefully by the end of 2030, I will come up with something else as well. So that's
Right.
one of the things I'm looking forward to do.
The next question is from Mika Kiprono. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing your name correctly. So the question is just want to understand the governance aspect. AI governance is still a jargon. How would you or the institution go about for trustworthiness and easy accountability of this aspect?
So AI governance will continue to be a jargon if you continue to believe in just in frameworks. For us, responsible AI is not frameworks. For our responsible AI is an engineering solution. All right. And specifically in the generative AI world, from prompt to response, everything is going through an responsible AI engineered layer. We look at the prompts, look at what the prompt is trying to do before we actually send it to the LLMs. Could be our in-house LLMs, could be anything else, right? So there is an engineering layer both between the prompt to the LLM and from the LLM to the output, which is the response, right? So if you consider this as an engineering solution, it will no more be considered as a jargon. And that's how we have looked at it, and that's how we have solved for it. And it's primarily called as generative AI security and observability. There are a lot of partners which help you do this within the ecosystem. But yes, there has to be a governance framework, but this governance framework needs to be solidly augmented with an engineering solution. Only then it works. Otherwise, it's like one of those policies that you know you have it, but you don't necessarily follow it.
Great answer, Anirban. Okay, so the maybe we can take a few more questions, Anirban, if you are okay with that.
Yeah, we can do a couple of more.
Okay. So yeah. So one question I'm getting from Shriya is what are the pitfalls to avoid during the shift to systems to data management?
Could you repeat that question again, Indrajit? What are the pitfalls
So
to avoid?
basically, yeah, Shriya wants to understand the pitfalls where when we are moving from the legacy system to the AI-driven processes and solutions. So it's more on the change management aspect and what are the pitfalls, common pitfalls we should avoid.
Yeah, so there are two kinds of pitfalls, Shreya, as part of this. All right. And sorry if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. Is it Shreya or Shreya? Apologies in advance for that. But like I said, there could be pitfalls on the technology side. All right. Because when we are saying that we will shift from legacy systems to modern data management systems, we kind of restrict ourselves that this is what our requirement is, this is what our requirement was in the legacy system, and which modern data management system can suffice for the requirements. But we do not necessarily plan for there is a better way of doing this in the modern data management system. And I've seen this from my experience. Okay, we just want to shift from left to right, saying that okay, we have just modernized our tech stack, but not modernize the way we were doing data engineering pipelines or in managing the entire data observability, the entire data management ecosystem, right? That's one pitfall. Two is on the adoption and the user standpoint. They are habituated again to a certain level from the legacy systems. There could only be, let's say, a certain number of metrics coming out of the system, a certain number of recommendations coming out of the system. But with modern data management systems, there could be a lot more. educating, okay, getting them onboarded that this is also what is going to come up as part of the new release is extremely important. And let's not give them a surprise saying that, oh, we wanted to come and wow you about this, right? So the more you have conversations specifically during this migration systems is extremely important, saying that you were expecting this, we will deliver this, but we will provide delta, 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 and that delta will also help you achieve delta in terms of revenue, top line, bottom line, whatever it is. So constant communications is something that is a biggest pitfall that I've seen when we are doing migrations across systems. The more communications you have, better it is. And it's the communication, when I say communication, it's not restricted to program management or project management as a philosophy.
Great, Anirban. That's a really good response to this question. One a little bit out of the box question that I see here that Safik is asking that which retail decision should not be automated by AI yet?
Oh, I don't think we have reached a state, Safik, that we should be able, like anything which is customer facing, okay, should not be completely automated. Let's say if there is a price change that's happening, right? The price change recommendation, the AI can come and with an explainable layer, like this is the reason why we are doing the price change, but not necessarily directly embedded into our pricing ecosystem. Okay, there has to be a human override. Okay, so in my point, I am just talking about pricing as an example. Let's say promotion. Okay, the markdown percentage that we want to give, the AI can come up with all the suitable recommendations. Okay, but there has to be a human in the loop, I think, when the final recommendation actually comes and sees the light of the picture in front of the customers.
Great answer. It's good to know that at least there are a few places in retail where still AI cannot enter. So that's good to hear. Yeah. Okay, so more or less, those are the questions, Anirban, that I see. There are a few more, but I see we have already actually either discussed or you have given some responses to that. So it was great having you, Anirban. It was really insightful, very fascinating discussion. Thanks for your time and coming to this particular session of the Bodhi. I'm sure that it has been great for me and all the audiences who are out there. So thank you once again for your time and joining this one.
Thank you, Indrajit. One final comment from my side, and specifically because we spoke so much about retail, we spoke so much about AI. I think the future of retail AI isn't about machine replacing humans. It's about humans finally scaling to their best thinking. Okay. So don't think about replacements. It's about you going and achieving the fullest potential to make your business successful. That's how you should think about it. But
So
thank
it's
you once again,
always
Indrajit, and the entire team for inviting me. It was an absolute pleasure to be here.
same here, Anirban. Thank you so much.